Hello again. I'm just going to do a short video doing a quick sort of health checkup on the RB30 and the 31. After the last event, I'm not convinced that it's running how it should, so pretty much I'm just going to do a compression test now. That'll give us a good gauge of how healthy or unhealthy the motor is, and then go from there. So yeah, pretty basic, just compression tester and then basic sort of tools. Definitely don't need them. Yeah, still pretty sick, been sick all this week, so which is a bit of a bummer because I was going to get started on the Subaru and getting the rear end done in that, but yeah, just going to ease into it with this. So just going to get like the intake manifold, sorry, not the intake manifold, just going to get the intake pipe off just so it's got a bit better access and start pulling the plugs out. Alright, intake pipe is off, so then just all the leads out. There's a few questionable things. I mean, it never really ends with this car so far, but get all the leads out, get all the plugs out, and then hook up the comp tester. Right, so just quickly with the plugs out. I'm definitely no expert at reading plugs, but cylinder 1, cylinder 6 down here. So pretty much it's looking like cylinder 3 to 4 is looking not bad. 1 and 2 definitely look like they've fouled a bit. Sort of a bit weird really, but it's not the worst thing either. I mean, I'm putting money that it is low comp, but hoping that something else comes up, to be honest, because yeah, don't really want to have to deal with that. But anyway, get the comp tester in, that'll give us a good gauge. But yeah. Alright, first cylinder, where are we? Just under 140 psi, say like 138. Just gonna keep a note of it, just so I remember. Still 138. Sweet. Gonna do the rest. Same for the rest of the cylinders. That's not as sort of low as I was expecting, but it is 1 out of 6. So yeah. Go through, comp test the rest. Right, so comp test done, all cylinders. I'm actually a bit surprised with the result, which is a good thing because low comp is really worst case. But basically what we've got, cylinder 1's down, the rest are, you know, within like 5 psi of each other, which is beautiful. Cylinder 1 pretty much between like cylinder 1 and 4. 17 psi of difference. So here I've used the calculator to figure out the percentage. I'm not that clever, but like 11%, 11.6%, 11.6. Like that's not bad. Like that's nowhere near really worrying about. If it was, you know, at 100 psi or something, then I would be more concerned. But yeah, so it's not a bad thing. It's actually quite a good result. There is the issue with the injectors on the car. I've sort of gone through it before, but long story short, when I purchased the car, I was told that it had like a VL Turbo injector in it. Took it to Dr. Drift and we had a look at it, and basically they'll like double the capacity of a factory injector. Obviously the car's running without any sort of a tune as well, so he sort of improvised for us just to get it ready before the event, and just sort of dropped the fuel pressure to accommodate, which is a short term, like it's not any means of a permanent fix, but it was to get us out of trouble. Yeah, so you know, I have found a couple of extra things since looking at it. I'll show you a pretty good one. The earth that normally runs on the back of the intake manifold over here, basically that was just sitting in front of this plastic, so there was a tiny bit of a rusted screw holding that earth, keeping some sort of a ground, but like little things like that will all add up. When not really working with the most power to begin with, all these little things add up. So I do have a standard intake manifold laying around that has factory fuel rail with injectors in it, so that might even be the go. Whether or not to get a NIS tune, that'll happen eventually. Like I wouldn't mind running the car in E85 NA just because and seeing, you know, what we can do with it. But for diagnostics and stuff, you know, I don't know if I really want to start reading the flash codes on the ECU. It would be interesting. I haven't actually really ever done it, but yeah, with how those first two plugs were, not too sure. I don't know about the injectors that are in it. They aren't any sort of brand I'd heard of before. So anyway, the comp test being a good result is quite a positive thing. That sort of makes it a bit easier. Like, to be honest, if it was low, I don't think I was going to be opening the motor anyway, because it just goes down a rabbit hole of expensive. So yeah, no, but anyway, pretty happy with that. Gonna slap it all back together now, and yeah, anyway, good news. Don't need a forced boost to accommodate for low compression, which is good. So I'm just going to keep this one short. Going to get some rest. Still feeling pretty unwell. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you soon. Right, so bit of a change of plans. I got on the phone to Doc just to ask him a couple of things, and yeah, rather than chasing my tail too much, he said that pretty much bring it down, chuck it on the dyno and see what power it's making, as well as I think he's got a spare ECU there that I can try, which will be able to sort of fault find a bit easier. So yeah, gonna head down there, have a suss, see what we can find. After the comp test, I'm a lot happier. It was a bit weird because I had the car cut out a little bit after I went to drive it. Rechecked all the leads and tightened up the plugs again, and didn't feel like anything was loose, but then it started running right, so it might even be something like a dodgy lead, or not too sure. But anyway, head down there and see what he has to say. Righto, so bit of an update. Ended up taking the 31 down to Doc's. Was down there and gave him a hand with the customer's 31 NIS tune that was supposedly playing up. So basically used my car to diagnose that and see if it was working, which it was a fault in the actual NIS tune board anyway. So then Doc has gone back to his roots of basically like ROM tuning a car, which was really cool to see, because, you know, I know that this is one of the things he was known for doing, and, you know, I don't know the technical side of it, so I'm not going to make stuff up, but pretty cool to see. So, you know, he did try and use that NIS tune that we were testing to write a map, and then from that map download it off the actual chip that holds the map. My wording might not be the best here, but basically download that. So write a tune for my car with that ECU, download the map onto the chip, and then through, you know, Windows XP software, which is a bit of a flashback, download that map file and then try reflashing it onto a writable chip to then put in my ECU. there were some dramas, and some of it was my fault not being able to read a basic gauge of how long the UV light was staying on to blank this chip. But anyway, we sort of battled with it a bit, and it just wasn't writing to the chip, so I've borrowed an ECU just to get the car mobile again and get it back. But yeah, it was a bit of a weird one, but it was really cool to see because it was, yeah, quite insightful. Like pretty crazy to see how it, you know, used to be done compared to, you know, more modern technology. But yeah, so anyway, we sort of hit a bit of a wall with that. I think we're going to head down there again, you know, pretty soon, and maybe even just chuck a Niz tune straight in mine just for the flexibility and for the future plans, because the plan of a basic turbo setup sort of changed now, looking at something economical. So anyway, we'll come back to that one later. So that's where the Skyline's at. I've spent this week doing a bit of work just cleaning up the garage, as well as doing some work on a mate's car that I've been sort of just putting off for quite some time. So pretty much now it's at a point where 31, we couldn't really see anything massive. There was one of the injector plugs was playing up a bit, so don't know if it was a bit of a high resistance thing. It wasn't causing a miss or anything, but a bit unsure whether it was under load that it was causing dramas, and that's why it felt down on power. But regardless, we'll, you know, revisit that one and get it sorted. So for now, pretty much, I've finally got to a point where I'm happy to pull the pin on the Subaru. So yeah, tidy up the garage, made as much room with the space that I've got as possible, and then pretty much, yeah, I just need to start getting this thing set up for the 4Link. So again, Gordon over at Flash Motorsport has given me the full rundown on doing this 4Link thing, which is cool. It's a lot, but yeah, I'm pretty excited to do it, pretty excited to give it a crack. So at the moment, what I want to do with the garage is pretty much just do like a bit of a, you know, I forget what you call it, plumb bob thing, I think it is. Just hang a bit of string off the roof and find a center point so I can center the car inside of the space, which I feel like just might make it a bit easier to reference things as well. So I need to set that up, try and get the car in here as, you know, centered as possible, level the car, which is probably going to be a bit finicky, I think, because I need to keep it level. And pretty much once the car's in here and I start on this, the car's out of action for a decent while. So yeah, get it in a good comfy spot as well. It's going to be nice to work with. So that's pretty much where I'm at now. I've got the diff for it, ended up going an EL Falcon diff just because I was going to run the Skyline diff, just due to knowing that they're strong and I had one available. But then I wanted to find the E-Series Falcon for the diff cover because it's got a Watts link on it. So it was either pretty much manufacture a Watts link to suit that diff, or find one of these which are a direct bolt-on, which then I've also ended up deciding I'm going to run the EL diff just due to the difference in the track width from the Skyline diff, what's going to work better on the Subi, as well as being 5x114 already. So that's pretty much the go. So then I need to pull that diff apart, see what's happening with that, see if it's seized or see what issues, and see if there's oil in it, and yeah, so pretty much get the garage happening, try and get everything lined up and see how that goes.